it's kind of like a similar question that I have for you. Like, because when I both seven, so I want to understand, see, when did you start to think, okay, you know what, I think I want to be an entrepreneur? Because also, and guys, please, let's always keep in mind, not everyone is going to be an entrepreneur. It's not for everyone. So this is not advocating for entrepreneurship or anything. But in a society where even people who are called to be entrepreneurs, we always feel like if we are sebenza, there's more security, there's like job security and stuff like that. So for you, when did you decide, okay, I'm gonna go down this road of entrepreneurship and ownership? Because it's ownership, because if you don't work, you don't get paid. You know, with us, whether but Kedibone Mashilo, she's a cake artist, an entrepreneur. Her company is called There Lab. And then my second lovely lady is Bernice M. She's a digital creator, entrepreneur. She owns Estelle 013 and she's also a philanthropist. Ladies, can you join me? So I'll just want to give a brief intro for each of the ladies, so just to give context of who they are. I'll read it. It's tough. So Kedibone is known by many as Usesi. She is the founder and owner of Layered with Love Cakes. She started this business with no culinary qualification, but she's self-taught and always had passion. She's a giver, always gives back to the less fortunate every time she's given a chance. And one of her favorite lines that she lives by is, start with what you have, the rest will follow. And then my other lady here is Bernice. Bernice, So Bernice is born and bred in Middelburg. She holds a diploma in mechanical engineering from TUT. She started her online business, Style 013, in 2016. Her business does branding, personal gifts, and fashion. And then in 2020, she launched her YouTube career, and she's currently sitting on 4,200 subscribers. On her channel, she focuses on lifestyle, money saving plugs, inspiring conversations with exceptional women. She's a social media influencer using Instagram as her main platform. She's also worked with brands like Cotton On, Identity, and Hisense, just to name a few. She's also the secretary of an NPO called Inkosazana Foundation, which she founded in 2016 with her best friend. And they focus on changing women's lives through fun yet educational events and giving back to impoverished girls. So yes, these are my beautiful ladies. So we'll get right into it, ne? So Bernice, okay, we're gonna have to use one mic because there are so Bernice, I want to know from you, if you were to define women empowerment and equality, how would you define it? Especially as someone who's also a philanthropist and passionate about the girl child. So what does it mean to you and how would you define it?
Sanulani, women empowerment for me, I think it's taking a little bit of what I have and watering what you have so that it grows. Because I feel like as we sit here as different women, each one of us has a special little something that they can impart into the next person. So for me, whenever we host these, like, because we host events like this as well with Inkosazana, we always focus on bringing out something in the woman sitting in the audience. So for me, women empowerment is that it's bringing out something that someone wasn't quite aware that was there in the first place. So when you encounter another woman and you hear their story, it should incite something in you that was almost dormant. Yeah, so that's what I believe women empowerment is.
Stacey, I'm going back to your favorite line. You start with what you have. In a society where we believe we need to wait for the big thing, I need to wait for the big funding, the what to start what I need to start. Like, what instilled that type of mentality in you to say, you know what, I have this, let me just start, you know?
Hi guys, hi ladies. First of all, you look so beautiful. What instilled in me to start with what you have is, like you said, most of the time we sit and we wait for somebody to come rescue us, or to give you that opportunity. But then I grew up in Middelburg, and when my husband got an opportunity to move from here to Joburg, I found myself with no job and I was frustrated. And I still believe in you have to be your own self before the we. You know this thing you go to when you are married, then we are we. It's that thing that makes women to be, I don't want to say lazy, but to stop dreaming. So because when everything in my age, so it's okay for us to have our own goals, our own, it's okay, ladies, to have your own money, but have your dreams and all that, but you can't wait for someone to do everything for you. So when I moved to Joburg, I was like, okay, I've been cooking all my life. I've been that friend that will always say, when's Mara Saturday? Guys, come, let me cook for you guys. Yeah. And then I thought, looking at the cooking space, I was, it's too crowded. I know baking now, say, especially with COVID, everyone started making banana bread. So when I moved to Joburg, I didn't have any culinary thing. I checked online. The fees are crazy. Like, to go to culinary school just for a 6 months course is 100 and something thousand. So I was like, okay, YouTube college is there. Let me see what I can do. And I'm fortunate that I have the biggest critics engine. So whatever I try, if they are south, they will tell me that it is. So I started with that because with age as well. Sometimes, there's fundings and stuff. They're like, okay, it's till 25 or till 30 or till, so I can now then sit and say, there's nothing I can do. So I just in a stove, I have electricity, flour mixed, and yeah, so that's how I encourage people. Just start with what you have. You wanna do, amazing things. You wanna do, like Benny is doing an online thing. I think Alinda does say, I need someone to book for me like a mall and have a store. You need to build your clientele in there. So it's important to just start with where you are. And this thing of us having the imposter syndrome of wanting to go big before. So never despise small beginnings.
I love it.
So I just like to add on that. I feel like I also went through a phase where I was just reluctant to start doing what I'm doing. As she mentioned, I have a YouTube channel. It was I had to conquer so much fear to start my YouTube channel. And every day, actually, I don't want to lie, every time I open up my phone and I'm like, okay, I'm going to shoot a video, I still have that same amount of fear. But I had to overcome the fear of being laughed at. I think a lot of us go through that when we want to start something, because you're gonna be like, okay, there's people who are already doing it, there's people who are already baking, there's people who have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Who am I now from Middleburg with my iPhone 11 who's thinking I'm gonna have a successful YouTube channel? But you never know. I mean, and especially when something is deep inside you and it keeps bothering you, you keep wanting to do it, do it. Yeah. And I think once you get over that first step, I'm not saying it's gonna be easier going forward, but you're gonna know that you were able to do it when you did it the first time. So you might as well go ahead and go and keep doing it.
Yeah, no, the conversation here flow because when I'm checking my questions, like what they're already saying is already flowing into what I was about to ask, especially about YouTube College. I wanted to ask Upinise about getting into the digital space. I mean, for me, I'm not with all of you guys, but for me, until maybe a few years ago, Instagram was just a place where I posted. I didn't think of it as a business, you know? And by the time we realized, hey, business, then the content creators were already making money, so they saw it before we did. And I wanted to ask her, how did you think with eating Genelana? And especially when we think of going to business, we think of the traditional thing. So everyone is going right, and when you went left. So I'm trying to, just unpack it for us, how you ended up there.
Well, for me, I think there's a lot of content creators that I was already following. So I knew that they were making money from this. I was watching them on YouTube, I was following them on Instagram. So I already knew that there's a market for this. So for me to become an influencer, I felt like, and I hope I don't sound pompous, but I felt like I was already influential. So why not get paid for already being who I am? Because I would post pictures of at a restaurant, I would post wherever I am, whatever I'm wearing, what I'm eating, and I would always get messages. People ask, where is this? What is this? Where can I get this? How much did you get this? You know, so that to me said that people were interested in what I was doing and what I was showing them. So that was already influencer marketing, and I was doing it for free. So might as well have people come and pay me to say, this is what I like, this is what it's like, this is where you can get it. So I can't say I was being innovative. It was already a market that I was aware of. I just had to break into it by realizing that I am someone who can actually do it. So yeah.
Nice one. I really love that. Also, Ceci, it's kind of like a similar question that I have for you. Like, when I'm also so I want to understand, when did you start to think, okay, you know what, I think I want to be an entrepreneur? Because also, and guys, please, let's always keep in mind, not everyone is going to be an entrepreneur. It's not for everyone. So this is not advocating for entrepreneurship or anything. But in a society where even people who are called to be entrepreneurs, we always feel like if we are sebenza, there's more security, there's like job security and stuff like that. So for you, when did you decide, okay, I'm gonna go down this road of entrepreneurship and ownership? Because it's ownership, because if you don't work, you don't get paid. You know, with us, whether when you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't work like that. So
yeah, that's true, hey. A funny one, when I realized I'm done working is when I started killing family members. Like, you drag going to work. Hey, go show me where I'm cool. Yeah, I need to go. You know, you have excuses for everything. And even when there's those promotions, you don't see them. You are not happy. You are not at a happy place. And the other thing, Tinapela, our business, I'm getting clients by posting a cake that I've done, by attending somewhere in a workshop, and sometimes these things are during the week. Last week, this week, you can't see busy, preparing for payroll, whatnot. So I then realized, okay, now I sleep 3 o'clock, I must wake up 8 o'clock, I must be at work. And most of the time I don't even have time to take pictures because it's rushing. Like I can't do my business. Like I'm tired and I'm always complaining and nothing gives in 17. So then to have a supporting partner or to have a plan, it works because then I sat down and I'm like, okay, so if I leave this job, what's going to happen? And then I understood, okay, there's no income that is going to come. And remember being in Joburg, there's already those big names. And I remember people, sometimes they don't buy the products. They buy because you know? So how am I going to deal with it? And mental health, it comes in place because that's when you're gonna go to Instagram. You're not drawing inspiration, but you are sort of like stalking this page. Why is she posting 10 cakes in a week? Why is she having 3 weddings one day and all of that? So then I decided because I'm tired, I'm neglecting envy, like I'm always grumpy. Imagine 4, 8 you are at work, must come back, I must cook, or even if I didn't cook, my husband will cook, but I still have to bake. There's flour everywhere. Eat, bake, easy just a baking. I'm not at a stage where I hire someone to come and assist me, you know. So I decided to take the leap of faith and say, I'm done. And I did it well, like Sizagame did. I sat down with my boss and we spoke, and we were in good times in terms of if it doesn't work, you are always welcome. But I pray that it works, and then that's how I left. Yeah, and I decided it's okay, I'll be there because my husband was like, okay, are you going back home? All right, I'll be here. Like I'll try to make it work while I'm here in Joburg, and if someone needs me in Joburg and they're willing to pay for that, I'll go.
Is really guys?
Yeah.
That's my notes. Okay. Can I get started? Let's clue me and that's my notes. Okay. Tinggal my pencil and I want it. So one of the things that kind of drew me to Open is, by the way, I'm meeting her for the first time today. Just putting it out there. But I've been following her on social media, and one of the things I loved about her, in our society today, social media, there's a lot of pressure, you know, to be the Gucci girl, to be the white girl, to be, you know, this mentality of faking it until you're making it. And what I liked about openness is very authentic. Like, you go on her vlog, you know, like, so I want to know, like, in a world that's like that, like, what has kept you grounded and said, okay, you know what, I'm going to show it like it is. Because maybe other people thought, let me fake it to get more followers. So how do you stay authentic and true to yourself in such an environment?
I think it's because I didn't start YouTube to be famous, you know. Same with social media. It was something that I just genuinely enjoyed. I enjoyed sharing my life. And then once I was within YouTube, I actually realized actually a lot of content creators are girls that are to be envied. You understand? Like lifestyle girlies, people with money, pretending to have money and all of that. And I realized that I didn't want people to watch me so they envy me. I want people to watch me so they relate to me. And I want people to watch me so they can learn from me. So those are my 2 goals with my YouTube channels, that it's either you relate or you learn from me. So I think I just feel like I can't fake it, like it's my life, you know. And I see me wanting a taxi, you know. Sometimes you'll see me driving my boyfriend's car, sometimes you'll see me ranking. It's still me though, I'm still fabulous, it doesn't take anything. It doesn't take anything away from me. So I don't want someone to come and think that the only life worth living is the life of Senten and Diamond Walk, you know. You can still enjoy your life. Keep hurting. Yeah, keep you email 150, ube nice nje. Outfit yakho the price, ube nice. So yeah, my whole thing was I want people to relate or learn, not to envy me.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Again, she's answered one of my questions already. But I love it. My Sisi there, I wanted to know from you, like you say in the cake business, like there's a lot of competition. I don't want to call it competition, but yes. So how do you always ensure that you are improving yourself and improving your business to ensure that it grows?
Okay, number one, it's never stop investing in yourself or in your craft, because there's no one who's perfect. And I think in any industry, things revolve, things change all the time. You know, 10, 20 years back, we seen them a square, a flat, and then they phase them out, and then now they are back, those square cake, and they are really nice. So you need to know what's happening in the market, and you're not gonna know if you don't socialize with other people, if you don't, because as much as Sigu competition per se, but you build your sisterhood. You know, yesterday when we were talking in Tabama, I left my hand mixer, I left everything that I've prepared in the fridge. Then I get to Nettlebag, I'm like, okay, Konji, who can I call? I call Sugar Ends. Yeah. And she's doing wonderful cakes, and we normally talk. I don't see her as my competition, but I see her as someone. This is someone from Middleburg inquires about a cake, and I give her the price, and for some reason I got afford it. Then I can be like, okay, but someone very close can do it for you, and then I can refer this person to, you know. So you build that sisterhood, and also would share. Would say, okay, Umundo so is doing a workshop. Do you wanna go? Do you wanna? Because some of these big names that are already there, they've traveled the world, they know people, so they are always pouring out. So hence I'm saying never stop investing in your craft, because you will never so we need each other. You know, when I'm here, as much as me while I'm but I need to go pop in go page like a pennies and see what is the latest. What is the latest coffee shop I can visit? Or because I know she's also a lady who supports other ladies. So I would know, it's okay if I'm stranded, I need something, let me go to Benny's page to check. So as much as we can be in the same field, but we need each other. One day I would want to own a coffee shop. I would need to say, okay, hey, come and do the audit, come and see if everything is right, you know. So yeah, that's what I can say. Never stop investing in
Stop investing in yourself.
In yourself, yeah.
All right, thank you for that one. That was good. Benice, you, my dear, are here, ne? But I love mechanical engineering. Benice has a diploma in mechanical engineering. So, like, I wanted to kind of understand, not really understand, but sometimes in life we have a plan. It's okay, I'm going to be an engineer, I'm going to be what, and then maybe life happens or you get bored or whatever. So basically what I'm trying to get to is, what advice would you give someone who has maybe started something and then maybe it's not for me? Because sometimes we stay in things not because we want to, because we're scared of change. So yeah, take us back to that moment where, okay, you had your diploma, mechanical engineering, like you struggle. It's difficult engineering, you know, you don't just get to the other side. And then you get to the other side and then now you are in the digital space. Like, yeah, just take us through that decision, the emotions that are making a change type of thing.
Let me just start by telling you guys how I got into mechanical engineering. I remember I was in grade 10 and my physics teacher pulled me to the side and said, what do you want to do after school? Because you're so good at science and maths. And I said, I want to be a psychologist. Which, when I reflect, I'm like, girl, what? But the idea of talking to someone or talking to people, it kind of appealed to me. So that's why I said I wanted to be a psychologist. And the next day, he pulled me back to his desk and he opened up my classifieds. And he said, who's hiring a psychologist? Look around. And I looked at all the people, no one was hiring a psychologist. And he's like, you're not gonna get a job. Yes, you're gonna get the qualification, but where are you gonna work? And I said, oh, okay. What are my options then? And he said, you're good at maths and science, engineering. And I did my research on engineering, and mechanical was the most broad one out of the bunch. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do mechanical engineering. I got a bursary. So I went to go study. Obviously, I'm going to choose the one that gets a bursary. You know, my parents wouldn't have afforded to take me to school. So the bursary was just the cherry on top. So I get there and immediately, I literally on my first week, I knew that wasn't for me. Literally on my first week, I felt out of place. I felt overwhelmed. At the time we were doing, my first year we did drawing, and we had this huge drawing board that we had to carry around. And I hated that thing. And you know I hated it. It made me look uncute. Not because it was heavy or because I hated the subject. I didn't like the way it looked. It ruined my outfits. So I just felt out of place immediately. But I was like, I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna do it. Sometimes you have to do what we have to do before you can do what we want to do. So I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. I did it. It took me longer than expected. You know, when you're not passionate about something, it really drains you. Oh my word. My time at TUT drained me so hard. It was really bad. But I finally completed it, and I did my in-service training at a mine. Yeah, at a coal mine. And I felt even more out of place then. It was male dominated, it was dirty. The outfits were not cute. It was just, I had to wake up super early to catch the bus. It was a lot. I don't even remember half of the stuff I learned there. That's how uninterested I was. And after I did my in-service training, I knew then that I wasn't going to be an engineer. I was like, no, this is not for me. But at the same time, I didn't say it out loud. This year is the first time I'm saying it out loud to other people. Engineering is not my thing and I'm not going to do it. So that's when I realized, no, this is not for me. And then, but with the same breath, I was still applying for internships and stuff that was related to mining and engineering, but I was not getting anything. You know, I really wasn't getting anything. And every time I would talk to people who are in the field, they would be like, but you've got good qualifications, you're still young, you're a woman, you're black, you know, there's a lot of market for you guys, so I don't understand why you're not getting it. But I wasn't getting it. And I believe in God, and I believe that God has a plan and a purpose for our lives, and everything happens for a reason. And I believe that some rejections are what drives us towards what we actually should be doing. So I feel like all that rejection in the mining and engineering industry was kind of like a sign to know this is not what you're supposed to be doing, you know. And I feel like I've always known who I was from like a long time ago, because I found this other little, I don't know if I can say it's a profile or what, but I wrote it I was in grade 6 at the time. And my future career was businesswoman. On that thing, at 12 years old, I already knew I was going to be a businesswoman. I didn't know that I was going to be an influencer or a YouTuber at the time, but I was always spending time talking to myself, pretending to teach people stuff. You know, like I kind, you subconsciously know. So when I got rejected on all of those opportunities, I was like, no, I'm going to start. And then COVID hit, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start my YouTube channel. And I started, and the rest is history. And it felt natural. I think that's what gave me the boldness to continue with it. It felt natural. It came easy. You know, obviously there was fear, but it felt natural. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is it.
Yeah. You know, when she's speaking, I'm thinking about, there was a video I was watching a month ago on YouTube, and it was a podcast. And the lady was actually saying that we need to pay attention of everything that's happening in your life, because everything that's happening is not a mistake. It's actually leading you to where you're supposed to be. Sometimes you're so focused that it doesn't look like what you want. But it's the breadcrumbs. It will get you to where you want to go. So don't be so hard on yourself when it doesn't feel like it's working out. It's a process, and you're gonna get there, you know? My sassy, I wanted to ask you, what does success look like for you? Because we all define success differently. Actually, this is for both of you, and she's done, you can also answer. What does success look like for you, and also for your business as well? How does success look?
I would say contentment, because most people tend to associate success with money. Yes, money it's a benefit, you know, that because you can do a lot of things with money and it makes things easy. But I think contentment, doing what you love, because then it comes naturally. You don't feel drained. Nobody drags you. You just do things naturally. And for my business, success will be in this world where we have so much unemployment and all that. I would actually like to have maybe a college one day, because I also did my facilitation, assessor, and moderator courses. So preparing myself for the future, because I would also like to maybe have a college where I would train upcoming bakers or cookers or something, but at least trying to bridge the gap between those culinary schools that you require. Yeah, you see, because not everyone, especially our black community, not every parent will be able to pop up 150,000 for a 6 months course, and you still have to buy knives, you still have to buy uniform, you still have. So I would really want to do that, and also own maybe a coffee shop with a bakery. Then it will work hand in hand, because then we bake our own bread. And obviously, I'm not here to be like having flour for the rest of my life. I also wanna enjoy it. And yes, and I don't wanna be greedy, because somebody once asked me, so what will happen if you hire a person or two people, you train them and they go open their own thing? I'll be like, at least I'll be happy, because they can still put bread on their table. This thing of us wanting to be superwoman, it's not gonna work. So success for me, it means contentment. For me to wake up in the morning and be happy and have peace. If I didn't make money that month, I didn't make money. And also then it awaits your financial awareness. When you have money, what do you do with that money?
For me, success, like she said, being content, being happy with who you are, living your truth, and aligning your paycheck to your passion. I think that's the ultimate success. Like, even if it's not big money, I'm not making a lot of money off what I'm doing right now. I'm still very much a baby in my industry, but there's this contentment that she spoke about that I feel, and it comes naturally and it's easy. So I think that's success, doing something that you love and getting paid for it. That's success. And also, I feel like success is serving. The Bible says that we are called to serve one another. So I sometimes I take it for granted that I'm a YouTuber, but some of the messages and texts that I get from people who watch my channel, they're like, you know what, you make my day. You know what, I've learned this and this from you. I didn't know this and this was possible. I saw it from you. And that to me is a service to someone. So I feel like if you're successful, you're able to impart something in someone else's life. Like she said, one day she wants to train people. So when you get to a point where what you're doing serves others, I think that's also success.
Ceci, you touched on finances when you're answering. I wanted to ask you something, Guti. How has your upbringing molded your relationship with money?
Mina, I was raised by a single woman. Well, I was a daddy's girl until life happened between him, and then all of a sudden we wake up, he was not there. So we had to grow up quickly, obviously, and my mom had to work 2 jobs. By that time, she was still a cleaner at a hospital. My mom went to a college, by the way, at the age of 44. So she is my inspiration, because by that time, when Tina is schooling, my mom decided to resign at work while in high school to finish her matric. Because when she had my brother, Abazabaki were like, we're not gonna raise a woman here, and these people want you and it ends here for us. So as much as she wanted to go to school, but she couldn't. So she made it that point. She was okay, I'm resigning and I'm going back to school, and Maga said that the matric because pages, I don't know, I still remember pages. Exact now I think. Yeah. So she would work there. She would work any metal cleaners, 6 o'clock, we are chased at 9 o'clock, we clock are there to work, for that 7 days. So I was the only girl at home. So so I needed to manage the money, make sure there's bread every day, make sure there's. So I think in that essence, it made me to have a good relationship with money, because we always attract the opposites in most cases, especially in marriages. So Mina, I'm the saver, and then only is the spend.
Oh yes.
So Mina, I'm that one. And we were buying a Milan, and they must drag me to go and buy myself something, because I don't want to wake up and say I don't want to get to that point. So I think, for me, eating cooler fast, yes, it has negative things, because it's those childhood traumas that will constantly pop in and all of that. But it has made me to have a good relationship with money, in terms of, if you get money doesn't control how I feel. When money starts controlling how you feel, let's say, money doesn't control me. So and accidentally my phone is on charger, and brothers want something like, how can't you've got money? Stay there, guys. We didn't have yeah, so I think for me, Uguti, my mom, I bet good at situation. It prepared me when I'm old. I can have a good relationship with money. And I didn't know that I was going to be an entrepreneur. If someone when you're going to have a business, I was going to laugh at that. I didn't even know that I was going to have a business. But I think it always works. Yeah.
So I'm going to do my closing questions now. So, my beautiful Panelist, what would you say is your superpower right now?
Can it be to fly away from the stage? My superpower. I think my superpower is that I'm incredibly myself.
Yeah. Oh yes. And then Ceci, how do you center yourself? And by that I mean, how do you get harmony between life, work, your business, family, yonke into life? What centers you? God.
Oh, yeah. God. Yeah, he's the one that centers me. And the second thing will be prioritizing. Yeah. So I choose my battles. I prioritize how I spend time. Because I cannot be everywhere every time. There is a saying that says, it's not spiritually okay to be available or to avail yourself to everyone. So I prioritize God and I prioritize myself, because as much as I want routine, for me to be whole, I need to tick all the boxes. I need to have time with my friends, I need to have time with my kids, and also taking care of my mental state at the same time.
Whew, that was very interesting. Ladies, does anyone have questions for my businesswoman here? Questions? No questions? Ni right? Angithembi nina yazi mara ngathi animamelanga. What was it? Oh, it's clear. It was delivered. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Hi, me again. I have a question firstly to Bernice. My question is, firstly, you are incredible. Gosh, I'm blown away. Now, I want to ask Uguti, I want to put this nicely in a simple way. What would you say to, because it feels sort of like Ngati, you ended up doing a mechanical just to finish it, although you didn't know that Uguti, it's your passion. But what sort of advice would you give to anyone who's sort of looking at career that is more like an educational career, like having to get a degree in something, and then now here is someone who's got a passion in something. It could be a passion in anything. Mara, the passion is one of those underrated things. For instance, like starting your own YouTube channel and actually making money and living out of it, and still remaining true to yourself. So where do we find that, like taking the leap of faith, which, okay, actually I must follow this instead of this? What sort of advice would you structure around that? Like, how does a person know? Like, how do our daughters know the day they grow up? We don't have to force them, go do medicine, become a doctor. So, like, from your own experience, what do you think would be the best thing to do?
You know, I always think about like our daughters and our little sisters, how they like gonna navigate through life. And I one of the reasons why I'm vocal about a lot of things in my life is that I don't want them to settle for things that they don't want to do. And I wish that I had some people in my life that told me that it was okay to want something different. I wish that my teacher said, okay, psychology is a good career, you know, not discourage it the way that he discouraged it, you know. Or maybe told me, no, maybe you need to find yourself a little better. Don't tell me exactly what to do. So I feel like we, as we sit here today, we need to go back and sort of employ ourselves as mentors to the little sisters and little brothers out there, to let them know that it's okay to be different. So I don't know exactly what to say as far as like advising someone who wants to do that. But I would also say weigh all your options. It's very important to weigh all your options. It's not everyone who can easily say, I'm gonna not use my diploma ever again. We come from different backgrounds, we have different needs, you know. I have my mom and dad, they take care of me. Even now, whatever I need, I can still ask them, even though I don't need them to take care of me to a full extent. But I would say weigh your options, but also do not ever pack away your passion. Because like I said when I spoke about my diploma, is that you might have to do what you have to before what you want to do. So I think weigh your options, and if taking that leap of faith and going towards your passion makes sense and can possibly look like it's gonna yield results, then do it. But sometimes you might need to start in the safer route. It's not always everyone who's going to chase after their passion and it's gonna work out or it's gonna be easier for them. So yeah, I think weigh your options, but also I really hope that we do better with our kids and we let them be themselves and we get to know them a little bit more. Because I think if we get to know our kids, we know that you understand? So we need to get to know our kids and do better by them. So yeah, that's what I can say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So no more questions? Are we okay? Yes.
Just to add on that, like in your closing, you said we need to do better with our kids. So to me, we need to be cautious parents. We need to be those parents that we do research about what these kids want to do and not discourage them, you know, to an essence. And if let's say a career of someone very close to you guys, maybe ask that person to say, okay, if you guys are not that busy, can you take this child? Because I feel like most of us, we go study something, and then when you get to the field, it's not what you study. It's like everything different, and you're like, what is happening? You know? Because I'm reminded because my son now wants to do what the uncle is doing Oscars, Victoria's Lakes, and everything like that. And in our black communities, it's something that it's still like, wenzani? Yeah, I let the doctors to amputate, they send the child to me, I take measurements, I do the legs, and so is that thing are you sure you want to do it? Okay, this holidays go spend time with the uncle and family. I don't want to do that. So let's let them explore everything. Sing a little, so let's let them explore so that we can know what they are good at.
I think one of my proudest achievements as a big, like literally as a big sister, because I did this for my little sister. She failed her matric. She failed her matric, maybe about 2 subjects or so. And my dad was upset. My dad was big on education, and especially because she came after me and I was like the top student at my school. So she could have easily just, her life could have taken a different trajectory. But I remember myself and my big sister sitting her down and saying, no, you need to go back and rewrite those subjects or pass, just to have your matric, because it's important to have your matric and you don't know what you want to do yet. And while she was doing that, like I started to examine her and started to like observe what she liked, what she was interested in. And I realized that she liked to be cute, she liked to dress up, she liked to do makeup and all of that. And I was like, I remember I was doing my in-service training, so I was getting paid at the time. And I told my sister, no, when I get paid, this is the amount of money I'm willing to spend on this. We are taking Uzanele to beauty school, and she's going to study whatever she wants to study there. She chose to do nails. So she's a nail technician now. She's working from our home. She's doing so well, and she's so happy. Like, she's making money. She didn't have to waste a day going to study something else, She's like genuinely happy and she's living her purpose, and I want that for all of us,
Thank you so much, ladies. I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Yes, it's pretty.